So you want to talk a little George Kittle?
Yes, you have him. You said over Dalton Kincaid. Is that more of a Kincaid skepticism or Kittle optimism take?
A little of both, but I'm still in on. Well, I guess I'm not in on Kincaid in some ECR if I'm having Kittle higher, but I'm okay with Kincaid belonging in that tier. But I like Kittle irrespective of ADP higher. He led the league in yards per route run, yards per target, yards per reception, yards per team attempt, EPA, and deep targets last year. Career high route participation, 95%. Wide gap if you look at ESPN's receiver rating, Kittle and all the other tight ends. And he did that playing through a core muscle injury that required offseason surgery. Played about 10 weeks with it. Now, that's nothing new for him. He's always playing with something. I'm not saying he's going to be healthy this year, but he's 1 year removed from scoring 11 touchdowns after Purdy took over. And what if Ayuk gets traded? I don't even want to think of it. I like how the two latest rumors, one involves Amari Cooper in Cleveland, and the other involves Kendrick Bourne in New England. I'm like, one of these things are not quite like the others. Reporter, especially a Bourne coming off a torn ACL. It's like, oh wow, which one should they go after? But there's just massive splits too when if Debo goes down. So I like Kittle there, and he's been a top 5 fantasy tight end for I believe 5 straight years. Kincaid, he did not post great first yards per route run, first downs per route run. He ranked 25th. He averaged 21 routes over the last 6 games, including the playoffs, when Knox returns. Like, I get maybe I'll look like a donkey worrying about Dawson Knox, and they lost Stephon Diggs. But the media is telling us that Knox will remain an important part of the Bills offense. They're more successful in 12 personnel. Yeah, Diggs is gone, but he wasn't any good the second half last year, and they added Keon Coleman, Curtis Samuel, Shakir will develop. So Kincaid wasn't a beast in the red zone or anything. And I think, again, Kittle scored 11 touchdowns 1 year removed from. So I'm going Kittle over Kincaid, and the nice thing is he's available later in most drafts.
Yeah, I'm not there in terms of Kittle over Kincaid, but I do have some Kincaid skepticism, and I haven't ended up clicking him a lot. I do think there's a pretty significant tier break between those top 4 players that I mentioned earlier, Kelsey, Laporta, McBride, and Andrews, down to Kincaid. I think there's a pretty significant drop-off here.
Hold on. Really same number as red zone targets last year Knox had as Kincaid. His target share dropped from 20% to 14%, tight end 6 to the tight end 18 whenever Knox was on the field. I get it. This doesn't translate and splits are silly and things are going to be different this year and all that, but it's something worth noting that they both play the tight end position. They're more effective out of 12. So, I mean, you explain to me how they're going to make him suddenly, yes, he's going to get more targets. And he had like the 10th most receiving yards for a tight end ever last year. He's a solid player, but certainly not blow you through the roof type underlying stats that McBride has.
Yes, exactly. That's sort of been part of my concern. I think I just think he's going to have to get a significant volume bump. And I'm not sure that's coming. Like, I could see him being 110 type of target player, but for him to sort of break past his ADP, not just be like a net win in the 5th round, but sort of exceed that, I think he needs to get 120, 125. I think he needs to get some of that elite tight end 1 type of usage. And I'm just not all the way there yet because of all those receivers that you mentioned. These guys are not like what the Chiefs rolled out last year. Curtis Samuel, Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, and even some of those big kind of X receivers like the Mac Hollins types. Like these guys, well, Mac Hollins notwithstanding, but these guys are good players. Like Shakir and Coleman and Samuel are going to be good. James Cook is still involved in the passing game. Like the Chiefs offense, they would have mowed through the league with those wide receivers last year. This is not that type of situation where, we're counting on Kincaid to be Travis Kelce. I don't know that they're counting on him to be Travis Kelce. I think they're counting on him to be a good quality tight end starter, but I don't know that he's going to be the central figure of their offense, if that makes sense.
And I hate saying it, he is actually, it's not just a joke, he's named after the GOAT Dalton from Roadhouse. So his parents named him after the GOAT Dalton. So I hate to do it, Dalton, but I'm taking Kittle over him. But he'll have a very nice year. There's nothing, I'm not saying don't draft Kincaid. I'm all for drafting one of these top 7 tight ends, to be clear. Pitts or Kincaid, get him. I think you have a leg up.
Yeah, the guys I'm waffling on in that tier is the Jake Ferguson and David Njoku types, because I do kind of think that, that those guys can still potentially be very solid options, but I don't know if they have like difference maker in their range of outcomes. Certainly Ferguson, I think, should be the second best pass catcher in Dallas, pretty by a significant margin potentially. I think he's fine. I think David Njoku was awesome last year, but it makes me a little nervous that it was mostly with Joe Flacco, not with Deshaun Watson. And that should be a pretty crowded wide receiver room as well. So does that bring down David Njoku's target percentage? So yeah, I'm with you that it might be more of like the top 7 than whereas I kind of think it might have been the top 9. Now I'm sort of wondering if those guys, Ferguson and Njoku, are closer to like Evan Ingram, Dallas Goedert, and Pat Freiermuth and Brock Bowers and those types.